Imagine attending a funeral, saying your final goodbye, and burying someone you loved, only to discover later that they were never truly dead. This terrifying fear haunted people for centuries, especially during the 18th and 19th centuries, when medical science was far less advanced than it is today. Our story begins in a small English village during the Victorian era. Among the villagers lived a young woman named Eleanor. She was known for her kindness, her gentle smile, and her love of reading. Her life was peaceful until one winter when she suddenly became seriously ill. For days, Eleanor lay in bed with a high fever. Her family stayed by her side, hoping she would recover, but her condition continued to worsen. One cold evening, her breathing became so faint that it was almost impossible to detect. Her pulse was weak. Her skin became pale and cold. A local doctor was called to examine her. After several minutes, he delivered the news no family wanted to hear. Eleanor was dead. Her family was heartbroken. Neighbors arrived to offer condolences. The church bells rang softly through the village. Preparations for her funeral began immediately. 2 days later, Eleanor was placed inside a wooden coffin. Friends and relatives gathered to say their final farewell. The coffin was lowered into the earth, covered with soil, and Eleanor was left alone beneath the ground. Or so everyone believed. Hours after the funeral, deep beneath the earth, Eleanor suddenly opened her eyes. She was alive. Historians believe that in rare cases, certain illnesses could place people into a coma-like state that closely resembled death. Without modern medical equipment, doctors sometimes made tragic mistakes. Eleanor awoke in complete darkness. At first, she was confused. Then she reached out and felt the wooden walls surrounding her. The horrifying truth became clear. She was trapped inside her coffin. Panic took over. She screamed, but no one could hear her. She pushed against the lid with all her strength. She clawed at the wood. She kicked and struggled desperately, hoping someone above might notice. Meanwhile, the village remained quiet. The funeral was over. Life was returning to normal. Then, something strange happened. Late one night, a man walking near the cemetery reported hearing faint, knocking sounds. At first, nobody believed him. But the following night, several villagers claimed they heard the same thing. Knock, knock, knock. The sounds seemed to be coming from a freshly dug grave. Fear spread through the village. Some believed it was a ghost. Others thought it was their imagination. But eventually, curiosity overcame fear. A group of villagers gathered with lanterns and shovels and rushed to the cemetery. Working through the darkness, they dug toward Eleanor's grave. The deeper they dug, the more nervous they became. Finally, they reached the coffin. With trembling hands, they pulled it from the ground and slowly opened the lid.
they discovered shocked everyone. The inside of the coffin was covered with deep scratch marks.
Pieces of torn fabric were scattered around Eleanor's body. Her hands were badly injured. The evidence suggested that she had awakened after being buried and had fought desperately to escape. The villagers stood in stunned silence. Whether the knocking stories were completely true or later exaggerated over time remains uncertain. However, stories like Eleanor's spread across Europe and North America, creating widespread fear of premature burial. People became so terrified of being buried alive that inventors began designing special safety coffins.
Some included bells connected to strings tied around the deceased person's wrist. If the person woke up underground, they could ring the bell and alert people above. Today, modern medicine makes such mistakes extremely rare. Doctors have advanced tools to confirm death with far greater accuracy than in the Victorian era. Yet, the fear of waking up inside a coffin remains one of humanity's oldest and most chilling nightmares. And somewhere in the history books, stories like Eleanor's continue to remind us of a time when being declared dead did not always mean the end.